Have you ever stared at your interview transcript? Wondered how exactly do I move from raw data to themes? If you have been confused about deductive coding, this video will change everything today. I am going to show you a step-by-step practical approach to generate your themes using inductive coding. No big grammar, just clarity. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Akite, a qualitative data analysis expert. On this channel, we help PhD students, master students, NGOs, and researchers to bring clarity in their research journey. So let's do a brief introduction of what inductive coding is all about. Inductive coding means that you allow your codes, your things to emerge directly from your data. You don't start with any theory. Theory is not needed here. You don't force data into frameworks. This is the breakdown. What you need is your data. You create your code and categories before you now generate your thing. That is how inductive coding works. Unlike the deductive coding, where you are going to be using an existing theory in your literature review, such as socio-ecological model. You understand? Existing theories will be using existing theory to govern or direct how you create your thing. That is for deductive coding. But today, we are going to be looking at how our participants have said their words, how they have been able to share their experience. That is what you are going to use to generate your themes. Working in line with your research topic, objective, and your research question. I hope you know that there is big differences between research question and interview question. So before you can conduct any interview at all, you need what I call interview guide. So in the course of this class, I'm going to show you a sample of how an interview guide will look like. On the other hand too, I'm going to show you a research question. And a research question is the question you tend to answer by the end of your research. While interview questions are the questions you ask your participants during the interviews. I hope you get the clarity now. That is why we are here for you. So the first step for you to follow in generating your theme is by familiarizing yourself with your data. You heard me? Familiarize yourself with your data, which means that you read your data. As you are reading it, you are getting familiar with it, you are going to derive some meanings, some context out of your data. Am I making sense now? So then the second thing is to generate initial code. All this I'm going to show you in the practical aspect. So stay connected. And the third step is to group similar codes. That is, things that your participants have said that are related to one another. Then you group it together. So from that insight, it takes us to the first step, which means you are going to generate your theme. Can you see that it's simple? It's not really complex with the way I break it down for you. So be rest assured that you can analyze your data by yourself if you know how to generate your theme successfully. Look at the common mistake people make when it comes to inductive coding. You know, people make a lot of mistakes. And in qualitative analysis, any slight mistake like this requires you to start all over. So that is why you have to be careful while you are working with your data, when you are analyzing. There's no shortcut in qualitative analysis. It's a systematic process. Do you understand? So there's a mistake people make when it comes to inductive coding. Number one is forcing theory into the data. You don't need any theory when it comes to inductive coding. I've said this earlier and I'm saying it again so that you won't start looking for one theory or another. Then creating themes too early. You did not read your data, you did not familiarize it, you did not interpret your data, you went ahead to go and create your theme. It doesn't work like that. Then the second one is confusing research objectives with your theme. No, your objective is your goal, the goal you want to achieve by the end of your research, not your theme. So when you confuse everything together, then everything is wrong. You know, people believe that quantitative is simple or easier than qualitative. Well, none of this is hard. It's just for you to understand the regiment. It's for you to understand the process. Do you get my point now? So let's see. Then the fourth step is skipping deep familiarization. My dear, you have to read your data. You have to read your data. Don't wait till when somebody will tell you that this and that. Read your data. Don't shift away from it. That's the first thing you have to do. And in my previous video, if you have not watched that, where I talk about how to transcribe, you understand, that is where your analysis journey starts. In fact, when you transcribe your data by yourself, it helps you to get familiar with your data. It helps you to really understand the original context of your research. So therefore, take your time with your data, familiarize yourself with your data, so that themes must emerge, not manufactured. If you need more clarity, or you want us at Future Growth Tech Hub to assist you in your research journey, use the link above or the one in the description to book a one-on-one consultation with us. Let's discuss how to help you, how to go about your research and make it a successful one. So let's dive deeper into the practical session where I will show you how to generate things. Let's dive in. The topic before us today is exploring barriers to mental health support among university students. So one thing I usually do before I even start my analysis, I try to break down the keywords in my topic. I mean the word that the words that looks big or sound big. So I break it down for more clarity. Now look at the definition I gave to mental health now. Mental health support is a comprehensive approach providing resources to improve emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So with this definition now, it has helped us to have more clarity about what this research is all about. Now we now have idea of what mental health is all about. Let's continue. You know, earlier I told you that there's a difference between research question and interview question. So here is our research question now. What challenges prevent university students from seeking mental health support? Number 2, how do students perceive available mental health services? So let's go to the objective. We have only 2 objectives now. To identify different barriers to accessing mental health support. That's one of the objectives, which is our goal. To explore student perception of institutional mental health services. Now that we have seen our topic, our objective, and our question, so the next thing we have to do now is for you to get familiar with your data. Yes, but before then, let me show you how interview guide looks like. So here is our interview guide. It's a semi-structured interview. Look at it. The first section of your interview, you can also apply these too in your own dissertation or thesis. Can you briefly tell me about yourself, year of study or course, etc.? How would you describe student life in your university? Are you aware of mental health support service available in your university? What do you think about those services? Section C now. Have you ever considered seeking mental health support? If yes, what stopped you? What factor makes it difficult for students to seek help? Do family or cultural belief influence help seeking? Do peers influence decisions about seeking support? How accessible are the services? What has been your experience? What have you heard from others? What do you think the university can improve on? What would make you feel comfortable by seeking help? So without wasting much of our time, let's go ahead with our data. And don't forget the 4 steps I gave to you if you want to generate your theme. The first thing is familiarize yourself with your data, generate codes and categorize them and create your theme. So here is our data. This is a sample data I generate for this class. I don't want this class to be too lengthy, but I want you to get clarity on how to generate your theme, because I know that majority of research students find it difficult to generate their themes, and I hope that this class will also help you with more clarity. So this is our interview question. So in most cases, you can decide to put your participant name, or you can decide to make it anonymous. But if it's going to be maybe focus group discussion that people are gathered together, yeah, you can put their name. But majorly, the name of the participant might not be required. But our participant we are looking at today, her name is Tola. So let's read together. Thank you for agreeing to participate. Everything you shared will remain confidential. Can you briefly tell me about yourself? Before we go further, as we are reading this data, you know I'm familiar with the data already. We are going to be generating our initial code. We are going to be generating our initial code. So please follow me as we go. Thank you for, okay, participant now. My name is Tola. I am a final year student, sociology. I am a final year sociology student. I stay off campus, and honestly, balancing academics and personal life has been quite stressful. So this takes us to the next question. Interviewer, are you aware of any mental health support service in your university? I have heard there is a counseling unit somewhere near the administrative building, but I don't really know how it was. They don't really advertise it much. And if you did not forget that you have to put your research question, objective, and topic in your mind. You know the goals that we want to achieve here, and one of the goals is to really know if our participants or students really know about mental health support. So looking at it now, from what she has said here, we can say that, oh, we have some barriers in the awareness of mental health support. But because it is initial code, we don't need to write it in full. So you can just highlight it, and like what she has said here, highlight this particular section and like this. Then you can just comment it. Yes, you comment it like this as barriers. Am I making sense? That's your initial code. Your initial code differs from your theme. So you click on comment. Then let's proceed. So they don't really advertise much. We can say inadequate awareness, inadequate publicity. So you can categorize this as inadequate publication or publicity. You comment it there. Am I making sense now? All right, so let's continue. So would you say awareness is limited? Yes, very limited. If you don't actively research for it, you might not even know it exists. She's still talking about inadequate publicity. Can you see that our code is coming out from our data now, right? So let's highlight it. Then inadequate publicity. Comment it. So what do you think about the mental health service available? Honestly, I am not sure how effective they are. Some of my friends said appointment take weeks before you see anyone. And when students are already overwhelmed waiting lists, doesn't help. Now we can say peer pressure or peer influence affects the mental health support. The information she heard from her friend has been another issue that really affects mental health support. So we can just code this one and put peer influence. Comments, peer influence. Peer influence. Just comment it like that. So let's continue. And when students are already overwhelmed waiting, weeks doesn't help. When they waited a long time, we can say delay. We can say inconsistency. Inconsistency of mental health officials, or we can say delay. Do you understand? So or delay. So that makes the students to feel overwhelmed. So let's continue. Have you ever considered seeking mental health support? Yes, during my 3rd year when I was struggling academically and emotionally, but I did not go. So this place now you can categorize me as willingness or need for mental support. Need for mental support. Need for mental support. So she saw reason why she need mental support. So I felt embarrassed. So what stopped you? She said she felt embarrassed. I don't want people to think I was weak. And also I wasn't sure if the information will remain confidential. Maybe it will remain confidential. So lack of confidence. Or should we say lack of in-depth knowledge or lack of awareness. Do you understand that? You can say lack of confidence or lack of awareness, or yes, lack of awareness. Lack of awareness. Do family or cultural belief influence decisions to seek help? Do family or cultural belief? Definitely, my family, we don't really talk about mental health. If you are sad, they will just tell you to pray or to be strong. Therapy is seen as something for serious problem or for rich people. So we can say parental influence. Parental influence. So what about peers? Do they influence helps seeking? Yes, another peer influence is coming out again. Yes, if your friend normalizes it, you might go. But if your circle makes jokes about depression, anxiety, you will hide. Nobody wants to label you. So this particular one too has to do with peer influence. I hope you are enjoying this particular class. Don't mind me, it may be a little bit lengthy, but clarity is our goal. So let's continue. How accessible are the service, physical or administrative? The office is not in a very obvious place, and the process to book appointments seems complicated. I had you have to fill forms and wait for approval. So this one now, you categorize it, you create your initial code, and we can say difficult access. Are there financial concerns involved? I think it is free for students. Too many people don't know that. Some assume you have to pay. So like this now, we can also say inadequate information, just like the way we have said it earlier. Inadequate information. How important is trust in seeking help? Very important. Students worry that lecturers or administrators find out even if it is true. If it is not true, the fear is there. So you can say peer influence now, or social influence. Social influence. Good. Are there emotional barriers apart from stigma? Or this one? Okay. Sometimes, let's continue. Yes, sometimes you don't even know how to explain what you are feeling. You just feel overwhelmed, and thinking and taking that first step feels heavy. So this place we can categorize as fear of unknown. Fear of unknown. Yeah. So what do you think the university should improve? Awareness campaign, maybe orientation session, also quick response time, maybe anonymous online counseling options. So this particular one, you code it as what? Effective method or effective way. Effective, or let's say advice. Advice on mental health support. Comment it. If mental health services are improved, would you consider using them? Yes, definitely. I knew it was confidential. Okay, definitely. Yes, definitely. If I knew it was confidential, easy to access, not judge, I would go. So you can still categorize this under advice. So now we have successfully create our code. The first code is barrier, right? The second code is inadequate publicity, peer influence, inconsistency or delay, need for mental support, lack of awareness, parental influence, difficult access, inadequate information, social influence, fear of unknown, advice on mental health support. Now we want to categorize this. We can categorize barrier, inadequate publicity as barrier. Do you get my point now? So let me open a new file. All right. So now barrier, inadequate publicity. Another one, inadequate publicity, right? So we turn out to categorize everything. Code categorization. This one is code categorization. Code categorization. Can you see now? So we have barrier, inadequate publicity. So this now will help us to look for a unique sentence. You know, in my previous video, I mentioned that your theme is a unique phrase, statement, or broad statement that is in line with your research topic, research question, and research objective. Let me take you back. Let's go back and let's see what our topic and question is all about. Research topic: exploring barriers to mental health support among university students. What challenges prevent university students from seeking mental health How do students perceive available mental health service? Now, our objective to identify barriers to accessing mental health support, to explore student perception of institutional mental health. So let's go back to our theme now. So we can say that inadequate publicity from this code now, we want to generate our theme now. Inadequate publicity, or should we say awareness? Inadequate awareness, yes, as a barrier to mental health support. You can see now, theme, this is our first theme, so theme 1. So theme 2 now. Let's come with the code again. We are done with this one. Let me change the color to differentiate it. Okay. So then, going further, we notice that when we are trying to generate our code, some people were talking about peer influence, parental influence, which has made them not to go for mental health support. So parental influence. Parental influence. Then the second one is peer influence. So now these two, we will look for our theme from there. What is the best phrase do you think will best present this particular thing? So you can say that social and cultural stigma of students seeking stigma on students seeking mental health support. Okay, so because from that data we read, we discovered that some of them are scared. They don't even know if there will be confidentiality in what they have discussed with the health practitioners. Do you understand? And they were like, if I go there, what people will say. Do you understand now? So from the parents too, they did not enlighten their children on mental health. In a nutshell, we have come to the end of this class. I hope you find this helpful. If you have your data with you, just sit down, read it, create your initial code, categorize it, then generate your theme. It's as easy as you have just seen this tutorial today. So if this explanation has made inductive coding clearer for you, comment inductive below. And if you'd like me to do another video on deductive coding step by step, let me know in the comment section as well. Don't forget to like, help us to share this with other researchers in your platform, in your group, so that people can also learn. And who knows, you might be helping a researcher at the moment that is struggling with their qualitative data analysis. This is Future Growth Tech Hub, where clarity meets research excellence. See you on the next video.